you are into other things as well. So I keep hearing and seeing about TheoBot. And so I don't think our listeners know what TheoBot is. I barely do. So
Yeah.
give me an
Yes.
idea.
Yeah. And so you're right. It is other things, but it's very much related with everything that we have been talking about today. In that, as I mentioned, we have been making a big push into social media. I've been encouraging artists likewise to pay attention to the opportunities there. And what we quickly discovered was that if you're going to share your art online and on Facebook and the other social media platforms, that means you're going to have to do a little bit of writing about your artwork, right? And you're going to have to say something about it. Yeah, you can share the image, and the image is worth 1,000 words. But what we found was that we were getting much better responses when we were sharing some information about the artwork, the inspiration behind the artwork, the story of the creation of that piece of artwork, and the artist and their background. And so we were ending up doing a lot of writing. And um, that's challenging. At times I've had several writers on staff for the gallery, at least on part-time staff, to help us with those efforts. And over the last several years, as all of a sudden we have seen this, kind of this surge in the availability of artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence, and particularly with the large language models and the ability to write using artificial intelligence, I saw an opportunity there. And I think that there are a lot of misperceptions and misunderstandings about what artificial intelligence is, um, about what it's capable of doing. There are some things that we maybe wish it could do that it's just really still pretty bad at doing.
Mhm.
And so I think there's developed very quickly this kind of reticence and skepticism about artificial intelligence, especially among artists. And this is understandable because part of what happened with the launch of ChatGPT and some of the other tools, Dolly, was that at the same time you were getting the ability to write, there was also this surge of image generation, and that felt like a
Mhm.
threat to artists. I think it's turning out to be far less of a threat than maybe we had feared it might be, as we see that there really still is going to be not only room, but a strong desire to have work created by human beings. But as I say, what we saw was that the strength of the text generation was not in coming up with something out of nothing, but rather that we could take the elements of what makes a piece of artwork interesting or what the details of an artist's story are. And we could have the large language models help us process that into something that would be engaging and useful for our collectors, and that could do it much more quickly than we would otherwise be able to do it. And so a couple of years ago, we started using some of the AI tools available to help us dramatically increase the amount of writing that we were able to put alongside the artwork that we were sharing online. And it was a big boon to our sales. Um, I couldn't help but see that. And in my conversations with artists, hearing about how much many of them struggle with writing about
Right.
their art or talking about their art. And so many times I've heard artists say, I want to be in the studio creating my art. I don't want to have to explain it or talk about it or share stories about it. And so it just seemed like there was this unique opportunity available where some new tools that were coming online would allow us to provide a toolkit for artists to help them write. And that was the birth of the idea for TheoBot, where I kind of took some of what we had been doing for the gallery and crafted it into a tool that would be useful to an individual artist to help them express themselves about their art. And to be clear, TheoBot is not about generating art images. It does not do any image generation. What it does is allow an artist to upload an image of their artwork, it will analyze that image and create a very detailed description of the artwork. And we put a tremendous amount of effort into helping our algorithms understand what it is that it's important to see in a piece of artwork: textures, thematic elements, the composition and colors. And so the output that we get can then be reorganized, and TheoBot will ask the artist some questions about the story of the artwork. And with just a few words, TheoBot can then create a website description or a social media post for you. In a lot of cases, in a much more coherent, much more eloquent way than we might be able to on our own. And frankly, a lot of times artists are very humble about their work, and sometimes they can't see what is making a piece of art work for them. And so it's an opportunity to draw on those tools to be able to express yourself in a way that you might not have been able to before, and then to be able to share that with your collectors. And we launched TheoBot in November of 2023, so not that long ago. And right away, we were just getting tremendous feedback from the users, who were seeing their own sales increase as they were able to better express themselves about their art. And that's really how we think about what TheoBot does. It's not writing for you. Instead, it is helping come up with a description, and then it's asking you for inputs so that it's your own experience, your own stories that are then coming and being shaped into a description that is useful for your artwork.
So it's tailoring questions back to you in order to shape it a little bit better as far as how you came up with this and how you
That's
expressing
exactly
this
right.
and stuff like this. Okay. Because it's interesting, because I listen to Spotify, and they have an AI on that. It's called DJ, and it will go back to all of your old tunes and stuff and say, hey, we're going to be playing this, and we're going to play in this theme for today at Monday, and then we're going to go down. And it's like, these are things that I've listened to that I would have to go search for and actually
Right.
hit. So AI is getting more interesting to me too. I'm technical. So
Yes.
I would think that I saw the TheoBot thing and I said, well, this is quite interesting as far as description, because yeah, content. I mean, that's we're artists. We're not
Right.
writers, we don't want to necessarily write all this stuff.
Yes.
So
Yeah. It's kind of interesting because as we've shared TheoBot on social media, I've seen a little bit of pushback from some artists who will say things like, I don't think it's right to have AI helping us with our writing. We should be writing about the work ourselves. It's more authentic if we're writing about it ourselves. And what I say is, that's great if that's your strength, but in my experience, that's a real challenge for many
mhm.
artists. And so my hope is that, I don't want to, an artist who wants to do their own writing and share their own thoughts, surely you're going to have a much more direct connection with the artwork than any kind of augmented AI tool is ever going to have. But for so many artists, that's just not even an option. They so struggle with expressing themselves with
Mhm.
words. If they'd been good at expressing themselves with words, they would have been writers, not visual artists.
Exactly.
And
But
and so we just wanted to create a tool that would help an artist kind of overcome that challenge. And it's been very exciting to see the positive response, and how much positive feedback we're getting from artists who are excited about being able to share more about their art.
but if I'm understanding you correctly, even the people who are not giving you the best of feedback, this is not something that is always going to be correct. I mean, it gives you something that you can then also add to, manipulate, delete, or whatever, as far as paragraph or
Exactly.
whatever. So it can
It's a
be customized.
Yes, it's a tool. And I suspect that we wouldn't hear any pushback from someone who's wanting to write their description in Google Docs or Word. They're writing it in a software tool, and
Correct.
TheoBot is just another tool that can help in that process of writing. But you still may need to do some editing, and you want to work to get it to be authentic to your voice. It's just a jumping off point and a kind of partner that you can brainstorm with and work towards creating a better description of your artwork.
Well,
And it will
that
help you with your biography. It will help you with artist statements. We've added features that'll give you some critique about your artwork and tell you things you might think about in future
Here we
artwork.
go. Here we go. All right.
And so that's been interesting. You will
I
see as you get feedback from TheoBot about your work and critique, you're going to hear a voice that may sound a bit similar to my voice in the sense that I tend to be very positive, and I want to encourage your strengths and suggest things that you can do to think about developing your work further. And that's how we've developed the critique functionality in TheoBot as well.
Okay, so yes, as I said, I'm technical, so I'm definitely interested. How does one go about, and does it cost, or is it free, or is it,
Yes,
limited, or
so
whatever?
there is a cost, but one of my imperatives with any of the tools that we create for artists is that I understand that many artists are struggling, right? That they're working to make ends meet, and any tool that I'm going to create, I want to make it very affordable. And so TheoBot is $5 a month. It's
Well, that's
the
not
cost
bad.
of a cup of coffee.
Exactly. Give
And
up
if
the
you sign up,
caffeine.
yeah, if you sign up for a year, you can get it for $48, so even a lower price. And what the feedback that we're getting is that the help that it gives is worth many times that.
Wow, that's a statement. That's a really big statement. And if you've seen those results, then that must mean that it's worth something. So that's where can people go in order to get this?
So TheoBot is available at TheoBot, that's TheoBot.ai. And by the way, I think of AI not as artificial intelligence, but rather augmented intelligence. It's building on you, augmenting your efforts and helping you as a tool.
Your definition is well taken at this point in time, but as I said, I'm technical, and I would say that given the future, that may not
Who
be
knows?
true.
Who knows, right? Yes.
Where is this going to go? So
Yeah, we're just at the beginning for sure.
we are. Oh, we are. Is there anything else that you want to talk about and get in?
No, I appreciate you having me, and it's been a
We
great
appreciate you.
conversation. I appreciate the questions. And again, I would just, to your audience, I would just encourage you to keep working, keep creating, stretch yourself, get out of your comfort zone, take the opportunities to get your artwork out there. Sure, there's the potential that you're going to be you're going to face some critiques from viewers and that kind of thing, but that's all in an effort to help you grow, and your greatest growth is going to come as you do that. And I try to make myself available to artists who need feedback or encouragement. If you go to my blog at red.blog.com, I'm sharing regular posts there, 2 or 3 posts a week that are all about the business of art, and that is completely free. So, I would encourage your listeners to check that out.
And your gallery, is that Xanadu.com?
XanaduGallery.com.
XanaduGallery.com. I'll have these out as far as links and where to get them on the site. But Jason, I appreciate it a lot. I think you've opened up the doors and the eyes of a lot of artists with this broadcast to say galleries are not dead.
Not yet.
Not yet. And we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Phil.
And this is Phil McNally with Artspeak, and we will see you next time. You stay clear.